What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we are going to be going over the best decks that I'm going to be wanting and exciting to be playing this format. So even though this is kind of short, we get basically to the end of July, and then boom, we're starting the next format. So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. First deck I'm going to be really exciting to try out is going to be Ragna Lord himself. Ragna Lord has had its flaws in the beginning, and it still has its gimmicky and kind of needs setup kind of situation, but with the new way of forming Blast DG Evolution, now you can do something really uniquely different with it, and that is play Jedi. So if your opponent has source stripping as their normal way of dealing with your threats, and that kind of hurts this deck, so you can't really put a body out right away, you could build a stack in Raising, slam down Jedi, and then when they attack with their level 5 or higher, instantly promote up and then get into your Ragna Lord ace, and then cause your opponent to have a bad time. Doing this would lead to your opponent having some struggles to deal with, or better yet, you know, you do have Jedi, they swing in for their final attack, you promote your stack, get ready for a counter to get into this Ragna. So both are very viable strategies, and I like how Jedi can actually work in the advantage of taking advantage of the aces, you know, Jogris Blast Ace abilities. So yeah, I'm excited where this deck can go, using cards like Zuba's, the promo Zuba to help fuel everything. The fact that you can build your stack in any way, shape, or form, because a lot of these new cards basically say, I'm going to go in and then trigger abilities by paying just a little less, really does help out sometimes. I know that we don't have any mem setters, but we sometimes just don't need it, and we don't care, because we're just going to have these ridiculously strong protections that says, like, this one isn't affected by your opponent's Digimon effects. This one says this one can't leave the barrier other than by your effects or deletion. While this Digimon, it has Ragna Lord. Or even this one that says, you know, securities don't activate on checks. This one says both options don't activate. So yeah, we have a lot of good ways of going about it. And I think this deck has a lot of potential. It's going to OTK your opponent. It's going to do a lot of things. As long as they don't have a way of removing sources from your stacks, this deck can just clear house. Next deck we're going to talk about is the 7 Great Angels. Not 7 Great. The 3 Great Angel deck. So with Digimon introduced a new way of playing things. This thing basically says search your secure stack, you may play a level 5 or lower angel or archangel trade card among them without paying its cost, then shuffle it, and then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP for the turn. Great removal tactics, but all turns when one of your Digimon with angels, archangel, or 3 Great Angel traits would leave the battle area other than by one of your effects or battle by trashing the top card of secure stack, preventing from leaving. I really like that effect. That's why we're going to combo it in with Gatomon, because if we're going to be trashing security, we are going to gain some value out of it. The barrier effect really does help out and comes up at occasions. The blocker Magna Anja giving all your Digimon blocker is really good. Same thing with this Anja here. They both really combo nicely. This combos extremely nicely with Magna Angemon, because if you know you have a level 6 right in your security, you'll be able to Digivolve at a reduced cost going into Dominion. You know, it really does combo nicely with the TKs. We have physical trainings just to be that guy, just be able to search your pieces and then get Digi-Evolutions up and free value. You know, everything adds up eventually. I'm debating on taking this Angemon out. Actually, let's take that Angemon out. I actually prefer the draw. Let's be honest. Draw value is more vital than anything, as I always say. So we're going to go with this Angemon from the new set. Just being able to have the draw value is going to be vitally important. You know, Luxmon, Angemon, kind of get that draw combo going, keeps you in the game, especially if you're trying to get right back into Pata, just the combo shenanigans, everything. It does matter at times. Then we have like Cherubi, the Ophanimon Ace plus Angelwolmon Ace. So if we combo Ophanimon plus Angelwolmon here, this one gives -5 plus the, you know, -8. You can basically guarantee to kill any Magna X's on the board. So because of the ability to let it linger until your end of opponent's turn, it means that protection will disappear once they start their turn. So keeping that in mind with your Angewolmon Ace and the Alphanimon Ace, you're just going to gain that value before they can actually go off. And that's just all you really need to do. Like, we even have Cherubimon Ace being Cherubimon Ace. It's just all good stuff here. Then we do have 7 Great Demon Lords as one of my decks that I want to give like great attention to. It has a lot of potential. It does get shut down by things like Psychmon and the Pillowmon kind of shenanigans. Can't play by effect, so you can't do the Ogudamon Wincon. But with Poor Cupmon, we can actually help alleviate that. We're also using one Mem Setter. Usually people will play Tie, but I think Marcus is just one of those cards that helped with the Royal Knight strategy, so we're going to need it here as well. I think the deck has a lot of changes in interval connections that you can do, and it gets really scary, especially when you're getting close to pop off with the gate, that you can basically make your opponent have to know what you're going to be doing, especially if you go like Balphamon Sleep mode and tuck this Rage mode on, and then you know that a Gudamon's coming out, so the gate disappears. Then you basically get, you know, a delete all your opponent's level 5 or lowers, and then if you have a level 6 or fewer cards in your hand, this Digimon gets plus 3000 DP and a security attack 1, and then by deleting one of your other Digimon, unsuspend this Digimon. So this allows multiple damage. This thing hits like a truck. So yeah, and then we do have this Chaos mode, just being able to delete one of your opponent's Tamers or level 6 Digimon. This is a really good one, even though he's a 14 play cost. Once we get there, oh yeah, we're also going to be playing one last card actually in the list, because even though it would be the worst case scenario if we see it first, it just speeds up the clock really nicely, and we want to speed up the clock, right guys? So what card are we talking about? We're going to add King Drazel to the list. King Drazel, there's 2 ways of almost playing this deck now. With King Drazel, you become Mega Zoo focused, so basically you'll eventually get to this thing reducing the play cost by 4, 8, 12, 16. So one of your guys becomes free every turn if King Drazel's the top one. You can't Digivolve at that point, so things like the X antibodies kind of just get a little weaker in my opinion, but that's fine. You know, we're gonna make it work. But we also have great removals like Sevenfold Cluster and the Biting Crush, especially Rivals Barrage too. Having all these great option removals makes your opponent have to play around it. We're adding Digimon Emperor in here because, to be honest with you, we don't have many ways to slow down the rush decks, so we need to punish them a little bit. So keeping that in mind, we want to do shenanigans like this just to prevent them from doing things. But I only have one Raremon, and we have plenty of Blancs for cheap. You don't have to play Raremon if you don't have it. You can definitely take the Raremon out and just play Ruin mode here, but which having another level 7 is never bad, especially if you're not worried King Drazel's going to shut you down. But all in all though, I'm really excited about 7 Great Demon Lords. It has a lot of potential. Your opponent has to play right, and you have to play really good. The deck is a big learning curve. It takes time to learn the deck. It's not something you'll just be able to pick up and go with, and just keep that in mind. But also the main reason why we're playing this combo with Raremon, Barbermon can actually play Raremon for free, but we're also going to be possibly just playing the Poor Cup for free. So as long as it's not Pillowmon, we're in a good spot. Next deck we're going to talk about is none other than Diab Borman. Diab Borman has always excited me. He is one of my favorite villains of the series. He's always had this presence that you know from our war games, that it's just that boss Digimon. The only problem I have with him is being 11,000 DP. I really hate that concept. I wish he was just a little more beefier in the beef stick department, but you know what happens half the time. We're just going to have our blockers do its shenanigans. So what's really nice about this Diab Borman, if you combo it with Beast Cyclone, giving your blockers an extra security attack, because they have jamming, all your tokens are now dealing 2 damage. And jamming against that is ridiculous. We are playing Memamon in this list because even worst case scenario, we slam down Memamon and then we get an Errata or an Izzy. We're pretty set and stoked for that. That Izzy now brings the Memamon down by 1. As long as you don't hit the Quartzmon or Armageddon, you're kind of in a good spot. We have enough black Digimon and black cards to facilitate it, but Quartzmon and Armageddon is your worst case scenario. But having, you know, Memamon ready to go, really good solid tech, I think we have a lot of potential. And when you play another Digimon by effect, one of your Digimon gains blocker until the end opponent's turn, which is really nice because you can give your main Digimon blocker if he's underneath this one. You know, Blast Acing Diab Borman Ace is really scary as well. Your opponent has to answer and deal with it. I mean, we have a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see where this deck can go. I mean, the deck draws fast. It draws options, and the fact that it has an in-house archetype to deal with the negators, like, you know, Chumon and stuff like that, being able to delete those for a non-play when digivolving helps out a lot. And being able to, if the stack dies, gets tokens on top of it, so your opponent now has to try to remove multiple threats. It gets scary pretty quickly. But the one deck I really feel like this deck has a extreme losing record with is going to be the Numemon deck. It's just that powerful of a deck. It just, that one Valkyrie Ace turn, any deck that can play Valkyrie Ace, your deck is really struggling. And I'm being straight honest with you, that struggling is a problem. But it's stuff you gotta be ready for and be determined to actually think you're gonna lose to it. So just keep this in mind when you're deck building. Sometimes you can add that DP buff in the inheritable stack on the level 5. If you think Mamamon's not going to be needed and you have the Godsend Errata power to get that in, that's on you. But all in all though, guys, I'm excited to see where our token generation deck can go and how you guys are building. So what decks are you hyped about this set? Let me know down in the comments. I know I only did like 4 this time, but it is a small set and we only have a short amount of time to actually enjoy this thing at full power. So without further ado, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.